I created a few slides for everybody. And so the context of creating these slides and providing this information that I get pretty much from Google um, is so it helps you with your operational security. You see, a lot of us don't necessarily know what's really going on. And sometimes ignorant is bliss. Like, for instance, I remember when I was working as a warden, um, there were government officials and people always trying to feed me new information, new intel, but it gets to a point where I probably don't want to know too much or I don't want to get as involved because it starts affecting my focus with reference to services that we are providing in a detention program. Another thing to bring up to you guys is that you got to watch out for these companies, these Palantirs and all these different companies, because even what Elon Musk did with the Doge thing, we saw a serious violation and exploitation of government information data that retained that actually retained or kept sensitive private information of U.S. citizens being exploited or sold, pretty much released. And I came across this when I was working as a warden as well. Uh, these companies or contracts or unofficial contracts, because nothing was in paper or writing, with these telephone companies that offer inmate phone calls um, and commissary services, and we find out that the information being collected by these companies is being sold, and it's being sold for a pretty penny. And so there's no privacy. So when people try to sell you something that's too good to be true, it probably is. And why does this have context? Well, in the next couple slides that I'll be producing in shortly, kind of gives you an idea of how not just companies or private businesses, but also foreign government intelligence organizations use some of these private companies as a way, as a front, in order to spy on not just the United States, but spy on your organization and or the people that are connected to your organization. Like, so for instance, if you're running jails or detention programs, they're able to spy on inmates in your custody if you're using those specific products. I'm not going to necessarily give you specific names, but I got a list of names in my mind with reference to how they collect inmate information and uh, specifically the ones that work with immigration and customs enforcement, because I would say that's probably the most valuable information at a worldwide stage, because these people are commodities for a lot of these aggressive nations. I would say that Israel is the top of them when it comes to information selling and information, pretty much stealing information to, and using private companies as a proxy to do it, because historically they create these vehicles in order to manipulate and change and shift power with reference to um, what their national strategy is. Here in the U.S., we may have or have done it. There was some things that were reported by the leaker, Mr. Snowden, but I don't think we've ever become as complex and as focused as other countries like Israel. And it's just what it is. The United States isn't as smart as a country as other countries when it comes to intel, because of our politicians, because members of Congress and the Senate are not able to keep secrets, and also they always are clashing or bickering and never really focused on the importance of protecting the American people. And this has been a constant issue It's always been like this. Um, so, I mean, what do, what do you think? That's how other countries pretty much, you know, the United States has a big army. The reason we have a big army is because of the stupid stuff we do. Other countries, they think with their brains, and they don't need a big military because we literally tell on ourselves. So those are just things to think about. It's unfortunate, but these are the facts. Be wary and careful with who you do business with. If somebody's coming to sell you products, like for instance, inmate phone call systems or commissary systems, you really have to get down to the details with reference to where the information's going, who is the information disclosed to, what countries are involved with that organization, and so on and so on. And so it's best to know when a country or these private organizations that are from these countries are connected or have an opportunity to have been connected, to some type of incident, with reference to, um, disclosing private information and or being involved in some type of lawsuit or illicit or criminal activity. So stay tuned. You're gonna actually these are worth some of these things are worth reading through because I actually learned a lot. I didn't know Israel was so involved in Mexico. More and more I dig into it, the more I'm finding out, and all this information is out there. It's like free information. If you Google it yourself or you start going through other search sites, you will find that Israel actually has um, a lot of influence when it comes to that the Jalisco, the CJNG, which I didn't know. I something new I learned today that Israel specifically criminal groups that were former Israeli intelligence are involved or have been involved historically with these cartels. So when you're doing business with some of these former Israeli intelligence people that are running these companies, you need to question whether, when you're providing information or interacting with these private companies, is there a chance that it's going to get into the wrong hands? Worth looking at and worth understanding. Talk to you guys soon.